Welcome back. Stas23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And before I get started, if you like this video, please drop a thumbs up on it. It helps out the channel a whole bunch. And if you like knife content and you're not already, smash the subscribe button with the bell notification so you don't miss any of the content. All right, today I have for you the K-Bar Dozer Hunter. This is the D2 variant. They have this particular knife as well in a cheaper form that has a US 8A. Same exact setup, just different steel. The D2 variant comes in at $29.95, and they state that the HRC is from 57 to 59, like when they actually state it. This is a design collaboration with custom knife maker Bob Dozer of, I think he from Arkansas, I think. Excellent knife maker. He's a seasoned vet for sure. Let's get some specs out of the way. You have a total length of 7.25 inches, so it's going to be that medium size range. You have a blade length of 3 inches, so it's going to be legal in a lot of areas. You have a handle length of 4.25 inches. You have a pretty thin handle at 0.40 inches. You have a closed width in the pocket from here to here of 1.31 inches. And you have a blade stock thickness of 0.11 inches with a behind the edge thickness of a pretty thick 27 thousandths, sharpened at 20 degrees per side by me. And before I get any further, let's break off some usage footage and we'll be right back. All right, we're going to test the initial sharpness. It is wearing my edge on here. Let's see, nice and sharp. All right, it sliced very well so far with that initial edge right there. Just like the previous one, comfortable. Handle scales are a little thin, so you will be squeezing it a little bit harder. Okay, I'm gonna see. Looks like we got a snag up front. Might have a slight. Might have a slight snag up here in the front. Alrighty, we're gonna test the edge out, see if it's still biting good, and we're gonna test the ergonomics with this Pine 2x4, doing a little shaving. All right, I think it did well for, what it is. The scales are pretty thin, so it's probably not going to be the tool you'd want to grab if you have a fixed blade for sure. Be much better to do this with that. But as long as I kept my finger up here, stabilized that bottom, it did a good job. Let's check that edge out, because I think last time there was something on the edge, but let's see. Yeah, because I wiped off the edge. I think there was something stuck on the edge. There you go. All right, now we're going to cut up several different kinds of material just to see how well it slices. We're going to do some 3/8 industrial bungee cord, some 1100 series paracord, some thick stuff, some thick saddle leather, some denim, and 1-inch dense water tubing, and another, half-inch dense tubing. All right, it's sliced decent. Let's see how that edge held up. Once again, this is my edge. It's definitely not as sharp as it was when I started, for sure, but it still cuts phone book paper, so I call that good. All right, now we're going to try to get through these 3 copper wires. This is like electrical wire. And let's check out the edge before we do this so you can see if there's any change. I think it's still pretty good. And it's not as sharp as it was when I started, but that's to be expected. Has a few hang-ups. Great working edge though. Use a rubber mallet. And yes, this is abuse. Probably void your warranty. I do it so you don't have to. And because I enjoy to. All right. Now that felt like it rolled it. Yep, that's what I figured. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. This is one reason why I don't like D2 too much. But it's still not something I would normally do with the knife. You can see, I knew after I hit it that first time, and I had to hit it a few more times, that it had blunted the edge. There you go. Nothing that I can't sharpen out, but just, you know, one of the reasons why I don't love D2. And I don't think I have to do this, but I'll do it anyway. But the rest of the knife is still in working order. Okay, we got this aluminum bar stock right here. We're gonna test the apex, impact test on the apex. I mean, most knives do perfectly fine. I've done many D2 knives like this and it's fine. So we'll see how this K-bar dozer does. I'm gonna try to do it in the back part since we did the other one up front. That was 3. And you can see them 1, 2, and 3. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, I don't see any damage. Nothing like the copper wire. Let's see. That's the copper wire up here. And back here would have been the impact. I don't really see any dull spots. Let's see if the edge is dulled anywhere else besides. Let's see. Let's cut that off real quick. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's got a hang up right there, but very minor because if I do it fast, let's see. If I do it fast, you don't see it, of course. Good working edge still on here. Yeah, right there. Got to hang up, and that is right before. It's about right up in here. All right. Alrighty, I hope y'all enjoyed that footage. Let's look at this closer. I'm not going to go too into depth because, you know, there's tons of videos out on the original version. But this one, you have this coated drop point blade. It's like a like an earth tone or whatever, that like a brownish bronzish color. You got the Dozer design right there. That's a nice little logo. Classic drop point. Very functional jimping. All right, I call it medium traction. Hollow ground. You have the K-bar logo on this side, and on this side, the blade steel D2, and it's made in Taiwan. You only have a single-sided thumb stud, but it is removable if you need to swap it around to the other side. This is a back lock. The action on this is it's a little stiff on my particular one. I will say that my OS 8 version is super smooth. I can't really flick this one out. That's about as far as I can go. My OS 8 one, I can flick it out really well. I'm not sure if it's riding on the plastic. Sometimes they make a bushing out of the plastic scales. I'm not sure. I don't know if you can take these apart. I haven't been able to. I'm sure you probably can, unless they're molded together. You could actually see a seam, so whatever. You have these bluish, like a baby blue Zytel scales that have a diamond texture on there that give you some nice grip. You have the K-Bar logo for where the clip would land right there to give you a nice smooth spot for the clip to land to go in and out of the pocket. You have a countersunk panhead T10 screw. That's always nice. So T10 on the pivot, T10 on the pocket clip as well. And as you can see, it is reversible, so the knife is completely ambidextrous. If you're going to be carrying it on the right side, leave the thumb stud like it is. If you're going to flip it over to the left side, you just flip that thumb stud over to the left, and you're good to go. Being it's a back lock, you can disengage that lock with either hand you want. You do have a lanyard hole. Blade to handle ratio is, it's okay. They added this extra part of the handle because you had to have that lanyard hole, huh? Let's get some size comparisons out of the way and some competition for the Dozer. You got the Ontario R2D2, which is a little bit shorter, and the Civivi Elementum in D2, which is also a little bit shorter as well. Probably one of the better comparisons is the Asher Knives Sparrow. These two are very close in length, if not identical in length, and have somewhat of the same shape, kind of like on that Elementum. One more is the CJRB small feldspar, and the small feldspar is just a little bit shorter. Alrighty, let's get a weight, because this thing is a featherweight, because you don't, as you can see, let's see, can I show you that? Let me get my flashlight. You don't have any stainless liners in there. It's just the FRN. So that is going to keep the weight down to a bare minimum. Grams, 65 grams. Look at this, 2.31 ounces. So definitely would be great in a pack, if you're a hiker or something like that, if you're trying to shave weight. What else? All right, let's talk about some of my nitpicks and complaints. All right, the knife performed decent, but in my opinion, for $10 less, you can get the OS 8, which is a stainless, and it performs pretty darn close, if not the same. I haven't done any of the torturing tests to my particular one, but as you can see, this one didn't fare too well trying to cut the copper, because this probably ran softer. It's probably closer to that 57 HRC range, which is, it might make it easier to sharpen, but, or no, it might not, because sometimes it can be really gummy if it's soft. But don't take this as a fail, because that was abuse, what I was doing. That's not something I would normally do with a knife. Just wanted to see, just because I enjoy, using them. And it just didn't do that well. Now, that'll easily be sharpened out after a few sharpenings, but, just something to note. Also, the edge termination is god-awful on these knives. They don't even attempt. I put a little choil in there so I could sharpen all the way to the back without having this huge, ugly spot right there. But you can see all this. Before I had this cut out, it was a big blob back here. It looked pretty nasty. Another thing, these thumb studs are pretty gnarly. You can see they got that knurling on there. Pretty uncomfortable, especially being that this D2 version, it has a pretty stiff action. It's not as bad on my OS 8 because the spring on the lock bar isn't as strong as the one on this one, so I can open it up a lot easier. This one, from here to here, it's pretty hard to open. Then once I get to right here, it's nice and easy. That's pretty much where that spring's got the most tension at that spot. Also, the pocket clip, yeah, it is, I know it's a cheaper knife or a budget knife. It just got a good bit of the knife sticking out, and it just looks funky in my opinion. And also mine came off centered. It's not rubbing yet, but just something to note. I've tried to adjust it. It doesn't help, which I don't really care at this price point. It's not why I bought the knife. But it's hard for me. I mean, if you really love the look of this, and you have the OS 8 one, you want to get another one, then yeah, go ahead and pick it up. But I just think, there's so many other better options. The R2D2, the Civivi Elementum. Let's see, and just like another one, this one, the small feldspar. I would choose the small feldspar over all these. That's just me. I like the contoured scales on here. This one's on bearings, just like this one. Their D2 is ran, pretty good. It's just a comfortable knife, and it's a joy to use. This D2, I've done the same test on this as I did on here, and I can show you the edge on this one. There isn't any major. I did chip a little bit or roll a little bit right there, but it just goes to show you this one's ran harder than that one. All right, so there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.